Hey, how you doing out there today? This is your Uncle Steve. We're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you for joining us for the Monday Minutia. We are happy to have you here. Just regular Falcon talks today, as we normally do on Monday, leading up to what we are hoping to be a dynamic 2026. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why I feel like this finally, after all these years, could be the year the Atlanta Falcons get it right. Come on back in. Join us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time.
What is going on? How's everybody doing out there today on Monday, June 8th, 2026? Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I am Uncle Steve, and we're so happy to have you here today joining us for what we usually call the Monday Minutia, where we go through all the things Falcons during the week. Sometimes we go into local sports. Sometimes we dive into directions we not even expecting to go. But today, I wanted to just land on a couple of things. I know the big news over the last few days about the re-signing of Drake London. I have some thoughts on that. I'll tell you in a couple of minutes. But I also wanted to get on one of the main subjects was why I think the Falcons will get it right this year in 2026. And the first thing, of course, you're going to say is, well, we've been saying that since 2018, 19, 20, 21. You get the picture. And there is a reason for there to be a pessimistic attitude. Believe me, I'm probably one of the most pessimistic people in the world when I start talking, especially about my sports teams. When you start talking about the Falcons, especially. But there are some things that are going on this year that I do see happening a little bit different than normal when you start talking about things moving forward in 2026. A lot of it has to do with a lot of the changes or restructuring I've seen in the front office. So some of the things that we've done off the field, it didn't take a genius to figure out that Raheem was probably on a short leash last year. Raheem Morris, the former head coach, now DC up in over in San Francisco. One of the reasons why I do feel like he didn't get a long, an extra look is because out of the last couple of coaches that we had, I can't say last couple of coaches, more than Arthur Smith, I think the team was a little bit more ready to go, ready to win, and especially in the NFC South that still over the last couple of years, still haven't had a winner I think maybe 1 year somebody snuck around and won 10 games, but since then, uh, a very winnable division. And you had the roster in place, you thought you had the coaching in place, and yet and still we did not do the job leading into the year. So I do think some of the off the field things we're doing as far as the organizational reboot, not hearing anything from Rich McKay, which I'm pretty sure a lot of folks were extremely happy about. Uh, a lot of people blame a lot of our lack of success on holding on to some of that stuff with Rich McKay. I don't know what people think he was doing, whether he had a hex or a voodoo on us or not, but at least that excuse is gone now. No more Rich McKay to fall back, and I'm pretty sure he's happy because he's saying, man, I didn't even do that move and I'm getting blamed. But now we move in to the part that, while I believe is a good move for who they brought in, I caution fans to remember that the new president of football operations, Matt Ryan, is not going to be on the field. It's playing the game, I should say. Very good to hear him want to come back into the organization, especially, I mean, we're only talking 4 or 5 years removed from him. He could be very bitter about how things turned out. I mean, the way they treated him at the end, kind of sneaking behind his back to, try to court Deshaun Watson coming in. Keeping in mind that still was a different coaching staff that he was dealing with. He wasn't dealing with the Dan Quinn. He was dealing with a new general manager in Terry Fontenot, new head coach in Arthur Smith, and they probably wanted to, in Frank Sinatra's words, do it my way. And I do feel like him being able to erase all of that stuff, come back, it really shows the love he has for the organization more than anything, and come in and be able to assist. I was just listening to the press conference. If you all listened to the press conference today, I think that was the day. It was either today or the last one Stefanski had, when he was talking about how Matt is really, I think that was today, where he was saying that he was very helpful with things about knowing the organization, knowing things around the city, knowing the vibe of the city, which I'm sure, Matt was here a long time. So I'm pretty sure he can give a little bit of a heads up on that. But I caution fans to say, yes, he can give that from off the field, but that doesn't necessarily always translate on the field. I do feel like it was good to have somebody there to kind of say, hey, this is kind of how things were done when we were rolling. This is how things were. This is how we were doing. This is what the crowd is not going to like. This is what Atlanta is not going to stand for. I do feel like that part is kind of good to have somebody like Matt coming back in play. So I don't mind that. The other thing is the players, as far as the players are concerned. Changes, but most of the core is intact. When you start talking about, especially on the defensive side, which this is the first time we've talked about the defense like this in a long time. And I think I was talking to my son earlier when we were talking about we hadn't had a decent defense like this probably since the 2017 season. So for us to be able to keep that, core of folks intact, yes, we know the cloud over the James Pierce situation, but I do feel like there are still enough players around that young team, a team that probably overachieved by previous standards. Not to say they couldn't do some of the stuff they did last year, but look, when you had a team that hadn't had more than 25 sacks over the last 4 years, and to do the things we did, not only with sacks, but pressuring, causing turnovers. We did a lot of things on defense, attributed straight to the DC, Jeff Ulbrich. So you want to build on that. The core is also mostly intact on the offensive side. You have an offensive line, sans the retiring Caleb McGarry, that pretty much have gone through a lot together. We'll see if our buddy Juwan Taylor can fit in at the right tackle spot, and hopefully he can jump right in there and do a little bit of better job. Then Elijah Wilkinson kind of got a bad taste in my mouth with all of his departing words, but I do feel like Juwan might be able to add some type of, I don't know, just a little bit more stability at that particular point. As much as I know a lot of people are critical of Jake Matthews, the one thing he's not going to do is miss games. Bergeron kind of had an up and down year. I know he was hurt a little bit last year as well. Chris Lindstrom, who nobody talks about as far as the money is concerned. We got to talk about the money with him pretty soon when you start talking about people you got to look out for in the future. And the center position, which at one point we were thinking Ryan Newsel was going to be kind of a solid piece to keep in the middle. It does sound like they may be trying to build some type of competition to see if he's really the guy there or not. I'm hoping he is. So we'll see. And then as far as the wide receivers are concerned, you have Drake London again, who just signed his new deal. Congratulations to Drake. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. Brought in Dotson, brought in Zacchaeus, two veteran wide receivers. Neither one of them are popping off as, oh my God, the second coming of the greatest trio of receivers. I'm not saying that, but if you are honest with yourself, tell me the last great wide receiver core we had on this team. And I say great, the best wide receiver core we had on this team. I think it was probably 2018 when rookie Ridley came on and Julio had a monster year that year. I think that was the last time we had a talented wide receiver group. And add Kyle Pitts onto the list. I mean, until people keep thinking he might get traded. I don't think he will. I think they're going to let this play out with him. So keeping those players pretty much intact, I think will go a long way towards doing what we need to do. Now, of course, the biggest if of all is who's going to be taking the snaps back there, and that is a huge part, which is the other reason why I think the Falcons will get it right. This will be competition. This is the first time that we've spoken about quarterback competition at the position since Matt Ryan was drafted, and they had him and Chris Redman going through the motions. Now, granted, it's a thing you don't want to do. That means if you haven't had a real quarterback competition, that means you're solid at the quarterback. Well, that might have been the case from 2008 to probably 2020, but really since Matt Ryan left, the Mariota thing, which was very interesting to me, though, don't get me wrong, I know my buddy Desmond was on the team, but there was no honest competition there. It was like it was Mariota's job, and just to see if possibly he could have been pushed a little bit. Then, of course, the debacle of Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix the same year. Kirk with all the money, Penix with the high draft pick. This is the first time that you're actually hearing a coach come out and say, nope, we're going to compete for it. Nobody has an upper leg. And matter of fact, if you're Kevin Stefanski and any of the coaching crew, sans Ulbrich, who I know probably doesn't care because he's on the defense. I mean, these guys don't know them like that. They're not intimately tied. He's not tied to Tua or Michael Penix. So I think he would be a pretty good judge to start off. And granted, we know Michael is probably, no pun intended, one leg down at the moment. I know they were saying today he was going to sit out practice, scheduled to sit out practice. And people keep forgetting, even though we're falling in love with these 707 T-shirts and short shots, the young man still is recovering from a major knee surgery. So to be able to come back, hopefully, I'm pretty sure I don't know how they're going to do it because when training camp start, I mean, no, the mandatory minicamp is coming up, uh, but to be able to see if he can go out there full bore during practice is probably the biggest question everyone's going to be asking about. So look forward to seeing that. But those are one of the reasons I hear competition. I hear the competition back there with Avion Terrell and Mike Hughes, which is great, especially in your secondary. Because guess what? You need more than two people playing secondary. You need some depth. That's one of the things we didn't have a lot of. I know young Kobe Bryant, the fan favorite, is still here, and Hughes is here, and we brought back my brother Natron Means, not Natron Means, Natron. What's the guy's name? Natron. We brought him back to on the team this year for some secondary depth. So hopefully, with this competition, that not only gets us the best person going forward, but whoever the person who lost the competition can still be sharpened by what they were going through to fight for the position. I love the fact that Stefanski is coming in and saying, nope, no positions are given. Don't have to earn this one. And so be it. If it's Tua, it's Tua. If it's Mike, it's Mike. And let's see, maybe they're even going to be competing for that other slot, the third slot, the emergency slot between Trevor Simeon and Strand. Who knows? But I like the fact that we're going to be probably for the first time in 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, see some starters out there during the preseason, which I think is a good thing. Last thing before I jump right into the chat and talk to you about it. And again, those of you are listening, we appreciate you watching Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you so much. On the YouTube side, please make sure you like the video. And if you haven't subscribed and you're seeing this for the first time, say, who's this dude back here? I am Uncle Steve. I am a long-time Falcon fan, and I love talking Atlanta sports, and particularly my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons. So if you're here for the first time, we appreciate you coming in. Hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe as well. We try to come on during the off season at least once a week, and then during the regular season, we usually do 2 to 3 shows during the week to watch the progress of the Atlanta Falcons. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing that. Please hit the like button on there as well. And for those of you watching on Twitter, thank you. We appreciate you checking us out. So back to Drake. Drake London officially signed his contract today, which is awesome. Awesome to hear the whole terms of it. 4-year, $141 million, including $100 million guarantee with an average annual salary of $35 million. Don't pay that any attention because they will probably have him restructuring next year. This year, he's going to have a $16.8 million hit. That's the 5th year option that they had already. So that's kind of a good thing. That means we don't have to worry about that contract going into next year. For those who are over worried about how much money we're spending, blah, 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 Drake London is a very capable receiver. He's somebody that's reliable. Nope, he's not going to stretch the field down there with 4.2 speed and beat you down there. But as far as one-on-one pass receiver, he's one of the best, and he's somebody that I think well deserved the money. For those worried about Bijan, I think he's going to be fine. There is no rush. There is zero rush to sign Bijan Robinson to the contract. Matter of fact, I would think you probably want to get Bijan to next year so they can take that 5th year option and build that up into his contract. You might be able to get some of that bonus money or something, but no, you don't want to sign him too early, in my opinion. I think now that you've signed Drake, You know that money's coming out next year. Why would you want to have two players making uh, $30 million next year if you don't have to? And I don't think Bijan gonna get 30. I think running back caps out probably about 25 million. I know his agents and Jameer Gibbs' agent are probably seeing who's going to blink first as far as that's concerned, but I think they'll be fine. But Drake London, great addition, great re-addition, I should say, to the team. Glad he's here. Yep, he still needs some help. The Zachariah Branch move is great. Nice to have some solid wide receivers in there. But you notice the teams that always are really, really good. They have the one standout, and then they have some very complimentary receivers as well. I think that's what we need to do here in Atlanta. So I love being able to celebrate Drake. They made a nice little video of Drake. If you've gone on the AtlantaFalcons.com, yeah, for all of those vultures coming out there for him. Scantily clad. I guess the girlfriend or fiance came out just to show him that video. All right, now don't be running too hard to him from that extension. He's good. So if you get a chance to go check that out, I thought that was pretty cool. So hopefully, look, let's see what happens in 2026. I hope it's going to be a great year, but those are some of my reasons. Let's jump into the chat, see what everybody's talking about. Thank you again for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I am appreciating some of you coming in here, like my brother Jonathan Freeman. Man, what is going on, my friend? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. He says doubtful. I'm pretty sure that was one of the questions earlier when he's talking about thinking we're going to get it right in 2026. I know Jonathan has been here through some hard times, so I can understand. Again, pessimistically speaking, I get it. I can't even be mad for his take on that. But I do, for some silly reason, Jonathan, I am under the impression that this fresh, new folks up top, the people that are disconnected enough with the Super Bowl folks, the Rich McKays, the Thomas Dimitroffs, the folks like that, they're disconnected from them enough to start their own thing. And, saying to themselves, let's try it this way. It's kind of what we needed the year, I think about when Vic got in trouble in 2007, and they kind of cleaned house up top in the organization and in the background. And once they cleaned stuff up, and then, you know what? They went on to do some better things, 5 years straight of winning football. And then, of course, the apex of the Super Bowl. Sometimes you do need that team enema to, get that stuff cleaned out and start over. And I like that. Big John in the house. What's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? He said, Uncle Steve, what's happening with you? How's the family doing? Glad for Drake London tour will be the starter come week 1. Go Falcons, Hawks, Braves, and Dream rise up. Yeah, the Dream have been real nice, man. Hopefully they can keep it up. Angel Reese, like 18.17 rebounds. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I know the tour thing. I don't know why. I am so unfazed by who's going to start on this team at quarterback, as long as they're good. As long as I'm getting the best version of whoever starts. Mike is in a kind of tough position, especially with the rehab, probably going to play a part in how much you can really see him do. So it's not going to shock me at all. And I want those Michael Penix fans, which include me, if Tua gets named the quarterback, don't just leave. It's not personal. At this point, I don't really care. Whoever is the best, whoever is ready and whoever is the best option to get this team to win, that's who you have to go with. Can't play the fair. We are in no position after 8 straight losing seasons. We are in no position to talk about this person is so much better. And I love Michael Penix, and I wish him well, and I hope he rehabs. And in the back of my mind, I hope he is our quarterback. Just not only from a standpoint of I think he's a good quarterback, but I also think financially for the next couple of years, it's gonna help. But if Tua wins the job, so be it. I don't think they're getting rid of Mike if Tua wins the job, for the record. David Starks is in the house. What's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Big John says he thinks it will be Strand for the third quarterback. I'm pretty sure it would be nice to have that developmental guy back there. I know I've heard people already acting like he's you know, and I understand it because as fans, we get excited when we see new but people have to remember you can be 6'5", you can have some, arm strength and things like that. But I always go back to, man, these scouts know what they're doing, man. And it's a reason why you're an undrafted free agent. And I'm not saying he can't develop into something better, but I just slow down the hype train on Mr. Strand. Let's let him learn first and figure out how to be an NFL quarterback, and then we'll see. Now I hope he does develop into something, but just slow down. Slow down. David says the market says this is a good deal. I hear people talking about he's making more than Jefferson. No, he's not better. But Jefferson's contract is about 3 years old, and he'll get another contract like in Jigba. Not only that, I have to remind people, David, when the first thing you hear on the news when you heard Drake London is getting paid, and he's the third highest paid wide receiver, and blah, blah, blah. And the very first thing you hear us, as far as especially Falcon fans, and even fans who are not Falcon fans, just say, who is that? And why is he getting that much money? Let me explain how this works. Drake London will get his contract now. As you alluded to, Justin Jefferson, we still got Puka Nacua. You still got, oh man, just had the guy's name in my head. There are so many wide receivers that are going to pass that contract in the next 12 months. It wouldn't shock me if Drake is not even in the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks by the time we get to next year. By the time we get to next year, I can almost assure you that contract, which seems like it's a lot, and it is a lot. I'm not saying it's not a lot of money, but I do feel like you gotta just take a deep breath before you completely just go off the rails with it. I was trying to look real quick at the 2027 free agents for wide receiver. And let's look at it together. So just to give you an idea, let's share the screen. 2027. Let's share the 2027 free agents coming up. So these are the wide receivers on tap. George Pickens is going to make more than Drake London. Devontae Adams is a little older, so he probably won't make that money, but he'll come pretty close. Chris Godwin, now that Mike Evans is gone, he's probably going to want that one last contract. Yeah, he just turned 31, but he might go for a little 2-year extension, 3-year extension. now that he is probably the guy, unless they gonna tout McMillan uh, on the team now. I think it's McMillan, the other young guy at Tampa. Uh, Chris Olave, he's gonna make more than Drake London when he's ready for his contract. Uh, so you got to start thinking that some of these guys, and that's not even including the guys who are extension eligible. So once you get them out of the way, then you're gonna really, then you're really gonna see a lot of the salaries come up, and then you'll say, "Oh, okay, so it kind of evened itself out." This time next year, when we'll be talking, Drake London will probably be number 10, 11, or 12 as far as wide receivers are concerned. I almost assure you of that. David says, I'm not optimistic about this season. I'm hopeful, but not optimistic. Yeah, I understand it. Again, it's hard to be, if you're a Jets fan, if you're a Falcon fan, how can you be optimistic? I do it every time. I'll say neutral until I get in my seat at 1:00, or whether I'm sitting down watching at 1 p.m. of that first game, and then all of a sudden I turn into the Falcons fan and say we're Super Bowl ready 5 minutes into the game. But the things that I'm looking for that are just a lot different is some of the things we've done up top, some of the moves we made as far as the managing is concerned. Ian Cunningham, I hope he's the guy. We're not gonna know until these moves, the draft, some of the free agent signings. We're not gonna know until that stuff comes to fruition. We don't know. So it's hard for anybody that comes out saying right now, I'm judging Ian Cunningham. How? What are you basing it on? A couple of interviews, a couple of press conferences? It's hard to, even Stefanski, even Matt Ryan. I've literally seen people out here talking about what a great job they've done. What have they done? The drafting? Okay, I'll give you the drafting. Free agent? Okay, I'll give you that. He's physically done it, but you're not going to know whether they're going to be good signings until they get on the field. How many times have we done it? Oh, that's a great draft. The night after the draft, after the 3 days. Oh, man, this is probably the best draft we've had in years. Wait a minute. Richie Grant? Uh-oh. And no shade totally to Richie Grant. I'm just saying, but it's easy. People, we put that stuff up high until we actually see them get on the field. Mr. Big Management is in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you out here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. He said, what's up, Uncle Steve? What would you like to see for the preseason? Should we play any starters this year? Oh, you are going to see starters this year. If you're asking me, 100%, you better see some starters this year. I think you're a new team. I think you have you're a new team, but as I was alluding to when I first came on earlier, but you also have a lot of core folks here. You're talking about you're kind of good on the offensive line. You have a nice basis for your defense. So the only way that you're going to find out what your team is to show them in the preseason and see what they're going to be. And I think you'll see a lot of Penix. That's the only thing that worries me about Penix is, quite honestly, is he going to be able to, be out there and really compete to his fullest with that injury? That's the only thing I'm concerned about. If he can't compete on the same level that Tua is on, it's kind of hard. And you feel sorry for, but guess what? It's the NFL, man. Next person up. Next person up. We right now we're at a point where it's too. We can't be so stuck on our favorites when you've had a team that's lost 8 years in a row. You can't be stuck on it. I mean, you can be stuck on it, but then you're gonna fall into the same trap that we do every year. And why aren't we improving? Why are we on our third coach in 8 years? What are the things that we are doing that's not allowing this team to succeed? So it's a big match, I'll say. And how do you feel about the overall coaching staff with Matt Ryan? Now, the defensive side, quite honestly, I feel really good about them because they've showed me what they can do, especially with the young folks. With the it's a relatively young crew. Yes, we had some depth issues on the D line, and let's see what works out with the linebackers. But they showed me last year that they were able to work with the folks we had. So I think I'm okay with it. It's almost another question again, and I'm not trying to avoid the question at all, but it is one of those things again, until we see it on the field, it's going to be hard to give a true analysis of what happened. If you remember, my friend, there were people excited about Zach Robinson coming in here. Now, a lot weren't. Oh, we got some pass coordinator from the Rams. You see what the Rams were doing? The Rams are doing this. Jimmy Lake, oh my goodness, he coached college football. He should be able to get a defense together and blah, 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 until we actually put it on the field. And I want to give Jimmy Lake a little bit of due because there was a part of the season during the first year he here that we were okay at the first part of the year. We didn't suck that bad at the beginning. We were 6-3, if y'all remember. We weren't letting them run up and down the field at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, that's a whole different story. So, David says, I think Tua's only here a year. I think we need to draft an insurance policy next year in the later rounds that we don't have to draft a quarterback in the first round. It's going to be interesting to see. I heard this conversation going on the radio, and I had the same feeling. I'm trying to think, was that 92.9 I was listening to it. I forgot what show. And they were right, and I thought about the same scenario. Barring Tua taking us to the NFC Championship, which is going to have to be the ceiling. Barring him taking us to the NFC Championship, no. Let me step back. I'm gonna reload that. Barring Tua taking us to the playoffs and winning one game. If he wins one game, David, I got to think about re-signing. And it might not be 4 years, $300 million or whatever. I know I'm being facetious. But if he takes us to the playoffs, he does. Not a joint, he played 8 games, Mike played 8 games, not that. But if Tua is the reason or part of a major reason why we get to the playoffs, win a playoff game, you got to think about re-signing. Other than that, anything less than that, if we win the division and lose in the first round, you got to go. Anything less than a playoff appearance and a playoff win, Tua, thank you, but try your best. I do believe in what you're talking about as far as possibly drafting for the future. Kevin Stefanski, I'm sure he's getting tired of drafted quarterbacks over the last couple of years, but at the same time, he might have a little bit more input this go round. I sincerely don't think he had the input in Cleveland. I think whatever Jimmy Haslam was doing up there, I think he was probably doing that despite um, Kevin Stefanski, hence why he's gone. But I do feel like, uh, yeah, we probably do need to look into that draft if things don't go our way. Because I really do think Michael Penix is still going to be on his team. If I'm not mistaken, I look real quick. I think Mike is still very going to be very affordable. Uh, and because of his injury, it's not like his agents are going to ask for a lot of money. So, and so next year will be year number 4, and he will be making he will be making 1.9 base salary, $3 million signing bonus roster. So he's going to be making about $7 million. And if we do that club option on him, that 5th-year option, he's not going to be making more than $30 million. He'll probably be closer to the 20-something million-dollar figure. So if we talk about that, Penix isn't going anywhere. I just feel like whether he wins this battle and Tua goes on to be the guy, I still don't think he'll be on the team. I still think Michael Penix will be on the team. But Tua is going to take a playoff run and at least one playoff win to keep Tua around. Other than that, thanks. Mr. Big Management says, will we lose Coach Ulbrich after this season? If he does the same thing he did last year, it's probably a good chance we will. I know people don't want to hear that, but it's almost like the Kyle Shanahan thing. If he comes on and this defense improves on what they did last year, if they're a top 10-ish defense, I mean, who wouldn't want the guy to, move on? He had the interview last week where he said himself, he has aspirations of being a head coach. He didn't balk at the question. And if he does a good job with this team next year, you got to believe, why not? Selfishly, we wouldn't want him to leave, but what other place is there to go for him on the coaching ladder? And trust me, there, as we find out every year, there are going to be job openings every year. So now it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if he did make that move. I said, what position would you draft in the first round next year? Whew, if you're asking me on June the 8th, right now for next year, I'm probably looking at a right tackle, maybe. At the moment, right now. I don't think from a quarterback standpoint, again, let's see what happens. I know that's the most important position, quarterback in North American sports, absolutely. But I don't know the answer on June 8th. I gotta see what happens. Who knows, y'all? This might wake up a monster in Tua. I don't know. It's not like I want to pull up Tua's numbers real quick before we go any further. Just out of curiosity, because I know there are a lot of circumstances. Everybody remembers him uh, on the ground in that game against was that Buffalo where he got hit, and that's legit. I understand. I understand why people would be concerned. Uh, bigger, I can uh, 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 that's a little better. That a little better. Go up just a little bit. How about that? One. Uh, nope. Let's go back. Sorry. They telling me they said, "Boy, what you doing? What you doing with this?" Let's try it. Okay. Take your thing off right quick, and I'm gonna roll up. I'm only bringing this up because I just want to see what his numbers look like. Okay, so if we're looking at his numbers here, and look, 24, 25, he had some injuries and stuff, but the one thing I do like about Tua, look at this column right here. 67, 72, 69%, 64%, 67. That was Matt Ryan number, keeping it real. And I don't even think Matt was 68%. Now we gotta close in on these interceptions right here. At 15 and even this 14 right here. That's not good. But when healthy, and keep in mind these 2 years he wasn't healthy, he's putting up some decent numbers. Now it helps to have Tyreek Hill on your team and Jaden Waddle. But I mean, it's just not gonna shock me, y'all, if it's not gonna be this sad day in Atlanta if Tua gets the job. So get yourselves ready for that. My brother Dre is in the house, man. What is going on, brother? How you doing, man? Out of the coach's corner, I know he might be between school and doing things, which that brother is always on the move. But y'all got to make sure y'all check him out when he's on air. He's one of the guys that I literally, when I would be on the stream a few years ago before he started doing that, I love having him on because he is a man of knowledge, being a coach himself, and I just appreciate him. So y'all make sure y'all check out the Coach's Corner when you get a chance to. He said, "Oh, I'm extremely critical of my team, and I say a lot of things that are unpopular, but end up being exactly what I say. And I'm telling you, MPJ is not the guy, and we will do better with Tua." I don't even. I mean, at this point, man, I can't even argue with you. And I'm gonna always tell you, and as I always tell Coach, and I tell everybody else, everything I'm coming at is coming from a fan perspective. So some of the stuff that I was probably pointing out, Dre was probably like, "Yep," because Tua is probably a better quarterback at this juncture right now. And that might be because Michael Penix was learning under a scrub. I mean, Zach Robinson may have stunted this man maybe about 2 years. With the right quarterback coach and the right OC, Michael Penix probably would have been doing things much better at a higher clip prior to this year. But what can I argue about what Dre is saying right now? And I don't think it's and Dre, I don't even think it's going to be that devastating. I think Atlanta fans are going to be so ready to win. Who cares? Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb like some people and act like Jack Strand is the next Kurt Warner. But it's not going to shock me if Tua does better. And if he does, let him play. I'm sure Drake will love that. I'm sure Bijan will love that. And they still love Mike. David says, I don't know if I trust Tommy Reed's calling plays, even though he's been blessed by Saban. Do you? Here's the biggest thing that you got to think about, David, with Tommy Reed, is that you have an offensive-minded guy at head coach. I think this is one of those situations that if Tommy Rees ain't doing the job, Stefanski is going to say, I'm good. I'm good. Go up there and deflate some balls for me or whatever. That's the difference in this situation right now. I'm still, even now and to this day, I don't think Arthur Smith was ever meant to be a head coach. But I would have really liked to see if we had a head coach and he was the OC on our team and see if he would have done a little better. But I'm not even worried about that, David, because I really do feel like Stefanski is one of those guys that say, hey, if it's going wrong, I got it. Let me hold it. Let me hold that headphone for you. I got you. Mr. Big Management says, can Big Low Country outsing you in a singing contest? I'll tell you. Listen, he shout out to Big Low, man. Big Low had a real nice stream last night, man. I would have I really wanted to join it last night, but I had some stuff going on. But y'all make sure y'all check out my brother Big Low Country Sports, man. Can't wait for this season to get rolling, man, because I know like him and Dre and a lot of the other content creators out there, man. This is just like that calm before the storm, man. That training camp, you can almost smell it. It's closing in on about a month or so before they start that up. So it'll be some good times to see. But to answer your question, no, he cannot. John Brooks in the house, man. What's going on, John? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate y'all again. Don't forget, as y'all coming in, make sure y'all hit that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. This is our Monday Minutia. We do it every Monday here in Uncle Steve's Lounge on the YouTube channel. Don't worry, we are going to be on a lot more the closer we get to the football season. Trying to spin around some ideas possibly for some pre-season interaction. So, let's hopefully it'll be pretty soon. Mr. Big Management says, would it be best to re-up Bijan's contract before the season or after? At this point, it's really not a rush, in my opinion, and especially from a monetary standpoint. There is probably not a rush. Now, if you want to just show good faith and saying, hey, you're probably next to whoever's going to end up playing quarterback, the most important person on our team, and we just want to show you the faith to say we'll do that, then I would go ahead and hold on one second. Trying to get y'all heard my beat. So it's no rush. It's no rush for Bijan. I don't think it's a rush. Dre says, the problem is a lot of our fans are not Atlanta Falcon fans. They are fans of the players. I don't give a bleep. And I'm sure that bleep stood for something pretty ratchet. That's something hardcore. But I don't give a bleep about no player. I'm a fan of the team, so it's super easy to take my fan hat off. And I know, look, that's why I love to talk to different folks when you start talking about football. I love talking to the fans because as well as I do, Dre, you have the people that, oh no, we got rid of I'm just trying to think of somebody example because y'all know if I use my boy, y'all gonna get
I love that.
y'all gonna jump on me. But even when Julio left, love me some Julio. But when Julio left, Julio kicked rocks, man. Gotta go. Grady Jarrett. Love Grady when he was here. But when it was time for him to go, I ain't rooting for Grady. I'm rooting for the Falcons. Gotta go. What Robin said? Robin Harris? I mean, and from that standpoint, sometimes we as fans get caught up in the player aspect of it. Man, dude, I could care less as long as we win as a team. John Brooks says, I'm good, Uncle Steve. Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us, brother. I appreciate you. Island Mike in the house, brother. What is going on, my friend? He said, good evening, Unc. We have Bijan under contract for the next 2 years, and we can also tag him. What's the rush? There is zero rush, Mike. And that's me. I don't think the conversation keeps coming up because the national media keeps stirring it. There is no rush to sign Bijan Robinson. None. Bijan is loved here in Atlanta. There's nobody here trying to. It, no, he ain't going nowhere. Bijan's going to be the highest paid running back when he gets his time. So there is no rush. You're absolutely right. Greg Custom Kicks is in the house. What's going on, Greg? How you doing, man? It's about that time for y'all to get ready to get on board with Greg doing his custom shoes. I got 2 pair. I don't know how we didn't hook up last year, but I got to look out for you. I'll probably reach out to you and hit you on DM. Try to see what's going on for 2026 before we get stuff started. But y'all make sure y'all check him out. You see his handle right there with GQ Custom Kicks with a Z. Make sure he's on Instagram. Make sure y'all hook him up, man, so y'all can get some custom shoes, man. He does a great job doing that. So y'all make sure y'all check him out. Antonio James in the house too, man. We got all the old school fellas coming in. I appreciate y'all, brothers. Antonio, what's going on, man? He said, "What's up, Unc?" About a month ago, I was ticked off about how the Hawks season ended, but currently we was the last team to beat the Knicks. Hawks might not be that far off. Let me tell you something. And early, when people were saying that, I was saying to myself, "Yeah, you're right," but the Knicks are probably going to lose the series against who was it? Philly. They'll probably lose against Philly. Okay, well, let me move on. They'll probably lose against Cleveland. And not only are they not losing the series, they ain't losing a game. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm really shocked at what they're doing to the Spurs. I really am. I still like the Spurs as a team, but I think yeah, you can't lose your first 2 games at home in the finals. That's gonna be tough. Now, if the Spurs can somehow muster today's game, it's still a chance. But I think their opportunity might have passed them by, brother. And you're right, man. The Hawks, we just extended Quinn Snyder. For those who don't know, today they extended him. You know, I'm not. I'm a big believer in what they did this year, but I think they had to do more with the GM. Let's see what happens. Let's see what moves we make in the offseason. I know the Hawks are going to be real active as far as the free agent market is concerned. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do in the offseason. Mr. Big Management says, how many games will it take to win the division title? I don't think it's going to be. Look, I'm going to tell you first off, I don't think it's going to be 8-9 team winning division this year. I do believe every team, with the exception of Tampa Bay, I think they might have leveled off. But I think from Carolina, from Atlanta, and even the Aints, I think all of them made moves to be better. I think you're looking at probably 10 games that it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be close to that. Alan Mike says he said I feel we will be lucky to be 9-8. Our schedule is brutal. But here's the thing: I always tell people when we all play the game of let's guess the schedule at the beginning of the year. Last year was supposed to be the brutal schedule for us. I'm just trying to. I love going to this stuff, man. This is always good for football with our Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so let's keep it real with this. Last year, pull this up. So hopefully I can let's go there. Share the screen. So just want to get to Here we go. So take your comment off here, Mike. Uh, there we go. So looking at this schedule from last year, and when we looked at this early on, let's keep it real, y'all. Don't pretend like last year didn't happen, and pretend like this was June 8th, 2025. Last year, we didn't think Tampa Bay. We thought Tampa Bay would be Tampa Bay. They weren't. We thought Minnesota would be tough. They weren't. At the end, they kind of came in, but we handled them. We thought Carolina, we were going to breeze by them. They swept us. We thought Washington would be a tough game. It was, but it was Mariota, and the team didn't end up being great. We thought Buffalo, San Francisco would be a tough go-round, and be honest, we were in both games. We probably should have won both games. We won't beat Buffalo, lost to San Francisco. Miami looked to be a walkover, and we got destroyed. New England, we didn't know New England was going to make the leap that they did. They beat us. Nobody thought Indianapolis with Daniel Jones was going to be what they were at the beginning. They weren't. Saints was the only thing that we kind of said, okay, Saints will be bad. They were bad. The Jets were awful as usual, yet they mustered enough to beat us. Seattle, we hadn't had Seattle's number the last couple of years. So I say all that to say, you just can't. We just can't play that game, Mike. You got to play the season out as it is. Everybody's right now. Pittsburgh, man, they got Atlanta. That's an easy win. Okay, Pittsburgh. Let's play it out. Let's see. Let's see. I don't see it. Pittsburgh is in the same boat as we are, as far as I'm concerned. Pamela Johnson in the house. What's going on, Pamela? How are you? How are you? Good to see you, and thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Y'all want to see Pamela and Lady Birds tomorrow. They'll be on AFN, usually at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. So y'all make sure y'all check her and the rest of the panel out. I always check them out on Tuesdays. They do a great job recapping things for the week. I'm sure they're going to be talking about Drake and his contract. Drake says about us paying Drake, in my opinion, he is not a top receiver worthy player, but is the best ability is available, and he is always there. And if you put the ball in this vicinity, he's going to, and I'm pretty sure he's going to catch it. Yeah, there it is. To catch it. My only issue is the Falcons tend to always do things like this, sort of like the fans to be in love with a guy and pay him an exorbitant amount of money. Here's the only thing I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree with you on that one, Dre. There's no need for us to lose our mind, and I'm not saying you losing your mind, but for us to complain about this contract. This contract in about 3 years is going to be the going rate for number one receiver. And at this moment, we don't have a number one receiver except Mr. London. Mr. London has had to endure 4 years of the most up and down quarterbacking that a wide receiver can deal with. Almost as bad as my man down in New Orleans, Olave. And he's made the most of it. And granted, I know he's not Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, whatever. And Dre, you probably weren't on when I was talking about this earlier. This is not a defense of Dre. This is the defense of any number one wide receiver on any team. You're going to get paid. If you're on your first contract, you are semi-productive, and some of the little bit was injury. Most of it was bad quarterbacking, or I could just say half and half quarterbacking. If you're doing the job you're supposed to do, and he's one of the best one-on-one guys, in other words, throw the ball in his direction, he'll get it. I got to take Drake. Is it personal with him? Not really. I think he paid his dues, though. Played out his rookie contract. He's been solid. He's been solid off the field. Sometimes you got to get rewarded for that. And don't look at the $30 million average. For one, this time next year, as I told everybody at the beginning of the stream, he'll be the 9th, 10th, 11th highest paid wide receiver. He's number 3 right now on June 8th. Probably by the time we start the season, he'll probably be number 6. Because all these wide receivers that are up for either extension, George Pickens hadn't signed his deal yet. Pretty sure Justin Jefferson, with every wide receiver that's not as good as him, is looking underneath saying, oh, okay. So you gotta, you gotta give it a little time. I think he'll be fine. I don't think it's a horrible move. For those worried about the salary cap goes up $20+ million every year. We're going to be able to absorb that. I think we'll be fine. I like the deal. I like the deal because I think when he's on the field and you put it near him, more than likely most of the time he gets it. Alamite said, I got you, Unc. I get it now. Yeah, and not, not really even I mean, that's your opinion, so that's cool. I was just saying from my sit, every year we end up as fans, and that's fans. That's that fandom I was talking about. Every year we do that as fans, and every year out of the 8 games that we say is going to be one way or the other, the team is not what we thought they would be going into the year. So that's why it's just kind of hard to play that game. Mr. Big Manager said when we played Pittsburgh a couple of years ago in the home game, it looked like we were playing in Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah. And Pittsburgh, Green Bay, any New York team, it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. Atlanta is not that as far as we're not that team. We have a lot of folks that live here but not from here. Their parents were big fans of other people. And, of course, if you go through most of the franchise history of Atlanta, you understand that. Atlanta is not one of the more favorite, popular teams out there. Dre said, yeah, I'm driving, so I use text to talk. I agree with everything you're saying, but I definitely see both sides of the issue. And as I always tell you, Dre, I respect what you're saying on the other side. And it makes sense. I get it when people see these huge. Remember a few years ago, Dre, when people were scoffing at Lamar Jackson getting $40 million. Y'all remember that? Daniel Jones just signed a contract that was almost $40 million last year. But 4 years ago, when the Falcons were talking about possibly trading to get Lamar Jackson, and people were losing their mind because we were talking about a $40 million contract for a quarterback. And now you see the Burrows, the Herberts, the kid from Jacksonville. I'm forgetting his name. But all the quarterbacks coming in on their next contract are getting this money. It's not a matter of we think you're so great that we're giving y'all all this money. That's what the value is right now. Why do you think Tua's going to be, let me tell you something. Tua is going to be so incented to win this job and show up for the Falcons because whether he stays here or not, he's playing for his next contract, which will probably be his last big money contract. Not because he's that great, just because that's what the money says. Left tackles, right tackles, they getting paid $25, $30 million. Not because they're that great. That's what the market says right now. Bijan. People going to be saying the same about Bijan. Bijan signed that contract. $25 million for a running back. That's where we are. Remember, about 5-6 years ago, the market on running backs had gone down until Saquon pushed it right back up a couple of years ago. So from a money standpoint, I get the frustration where some people might say, oh, that's too much, but here's what it is. Dondre in the house. What's up, brother? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. What's going on, man? He said Pittsburgh just pushed Kyle Pitts signing through the roof. Oh, yeah, Darnell Washington. Yeah, I guess Kyle Pitts is and the Falcons are in a really interesting position. There's a part of me that's not going to be ticked off if the Falcons say, you know what, let's go on and run it with Kyle and see how it works. And then maybe at the end of the year, we'll bring somebody in. There'll be another tight end. Kyle Pitts is an unusual player because he's athletically freakish. But with the last regime, there was a lot left to be desired sometimes. Now, last year, we don't do what we do in a lot of the games if it wasn't for Kyle. Kyle had a really good year last year. In my opinion, I think he had a better year this year, though the numbers don't match what he did in his rookie year. I think he had a much better overall year last year. And if he gives you that same effort that he gives this year, you could bet your bottom dollar that next year they're going to try their best to lock him down before he hits free agency. But I also like the fact that the Falcons are saying, okay, let's see what happens. Because I will guarantee you this. If the Falcons happen to, and we're not saying they will, but if the Falcons go south, y'all already heard Ian Cunningham say, I like them draft picks. If the Falcons season goes south, you can bet your bottom dollar that Kyle's going to be on the trade block. And they're going to try to get what they can for him going into 2027. But yeah, that was a good contract for Darnell. I like Darnell Washington. Mr. Big Management says, can Drake break 1,000 yards this season in your opinion? Of course he can. He got to stay on the field. Remember last year he ran into a couple of injury issues last year, and of course with all the turmoil between who was actually quarterbacking last year, and that's just so funny. I heard somebody talking about Kirk Cousins stabilized it. Kirk Cousins was not that great, except against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, that's the team that he'd love to see more than anybody else. Other than that, man, Kirk Cousins didn't do anything special last year. So I my 2 cents on that, Mr. I love Vegas now. Mr. Big Management says, who will be the number 2 receiver in your opinion? Oh, it's probably going to be Dotson. Probably going to be Dotson. And look, all of them are going to get time. All those receivers, Alameda, Dotson, Zachariah, I think you're talking about all of those guys. And really, as we found out last year, you can't have enough depth at wide receiver. Because remember, at one point, we were throwing Drake and remember this name? Caleb Washington? Remember him? The guy that was supposed to be the slot receiver last year. Yeah, we had no depth in our wide receiver room last year. So if you're asking me now, though, I do think Dotson is probably going to win that number 2 job. And but everybody's going to eat if they stay healthy. Zacchaeus is going to eat. Dotson's going to eat. Brant's going to eat. If Cash Jones works out and gets on special teams, he might end up eating on the team. So, oh man, Dre said there'll be no Kurt slander. I love Kurt. Let me tell you something. Man, let me tell you something. Kirk Cousins, and it's so sad too, Dre, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I fell for the Kirk Chains commercials. Not literal commercials, but you know what I mean. All the hype coming in. But Kirk hurt us, man, last year when he faked them injuries. Not faked them injuries, didn't tell people they were injured. So yeah, that I'll give you some Kirk slander. I hate Kirk. No, and I don't. He was just a little bit over advertised. He definitely didn't live up to that. My bad, David. Casey Washington. Why am I calling that man Caleb Washington? Casey Washington. That's who we met. The guy Raheem lied to us about. Yeah, Casey Washington was supposed to be the next guy according to that regime. He's supposed to be the next guy. Now that, granted, he was what, 5th round, 6th round, wherever he was. Yeah, Casey Washington. My bad. That's why I like. That's why between you and Dre, y'all keep me straight. I appreciate that. He said, "Where do you rank our running back?" I mean, it's a good 1-2 punch. I find it hard to argue with. I mean, it got to be at least maybe top 5, maybe. Again, got to see how all these other teams running back tandems match up. I know Detroit split up their folks because Montgomery left. At the point last year, I think that was the number one. It's easy to say Seattle now after winning the Super Bowl, but I did like Charbonnet kind of coming in for Walker. Actually, Charbonnet was hotter than Walker was at the beginning of the year, but Charbonnet got hurt. But Charbonnet was running the ball really good in Seattle. I think about that tandem there. Trying to think. The tandem in New England is pretty good. Stevenson and Henderson. I like that tandem as far as running is concerned. I know I'm leaving out somebody. I'm trying to run them down in my head real quick. But yeah, we should be top 5 because Brian Robinson is a tough runner, man. He's a tough runner, so I like him too. I think he'll do well. Absolutely. But listen, I appreciate everyone joining us here on Uncle Steve's Lounge for the Monday Minutia. Thank you all for the questions. Thank you all for the interaction. I love that. Help your uncle out if y'all get a chance. Find me some more nieces and nephews. Let them know about the show. Let them know we do it every Monday. Try to do it around 7 o'clock. Sometimes we go about an hour early, an hour later. But y'all make sure you let them know that we're here on YouTube. Don't forget, before you leave, please hit the like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be looking forward to talking to you all through the next couple of weeks as we get the mini camp and hopefully very soon get to training camp is right around the corner, folks. It won't be long. Until then, everyone have a blessed evening. Again, thank you all for joining us. I am Uncle Steve, and this is Uncle Steve's Lounge.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's